Hi guys, it's Silverred again, and I've got a tutorial on advanced terrain editing, and that sounds very interesting, but it's actually a trick that not many people use, but it's actually pretty useful, and that is take a non-blending texture like this one. As you can see, it doesn't blend in with the grass. If you take this texture, for example, you can see this little blending area on here, and you don't want that. I always use this texture because as you can see, every tile represents a tile of the grid, so that's very handy. Now what you're going to do is you're going to make a chessboard pattern. Say for example I want some rough grass, then I'm just going to place some rock textures in here. Oops, I'm not supposed to do that. Anyway, you get the point of it. Let's forget about that last bit right there, it's not really important. And then you're going to fill the rest in with normal grass, and as you can see now, you've got a somewhat rougher grass rock-ish texture. That's a lot different than all of the grass textures in-game, so that's nice. But that isn't the only variations. There are, well, the variations are limitless. You've got a lot of options when it comes to this, honestly. One of the options that I also like is, for example, when you've got this dry coaster in a Mediterranean climate, for example, you take this little soil kind of texture and just put it all over the place. And then you take this light sand over here, and the somewhat lighter sand over there, and you're just going to fill in the rest of the little tiles. And as you can see, you get a somewhat in-between texture that's a little bit sandish, but still has that dry texture from the soil, so that's really nice. Now you can honestly blend all of these things together. I would really recommend to try experimenting with this, try different textures, and maybe you find something new. But basically, this isn't the only technique you can use for this. There are two other techniques. I haven't seen many people use these before, but I like using them. I'm just going to create a big square over here for the sake of the tutorial, and going to remove these because I'm a perfectionist. And first of all, we've got the, I have no idea what this technique is called, technique, and I can't come up with the name, but it basically goes like this. You just put something down every other tile, and then you're going to fill the rest in with grass, for example, because I want some dark grass. Now this still blends in, but the grass, for example, blends in more than the dark of the asphalt texture. So as you can see, what you get is grass, but just a little bit more dark than the usual in-game grass. So if you want, for example, a forest or a little bit more mossy kind of texture, this is really good. But there is also a variation on this technique, and it starts out the same, and for the sake of the tutorial I'm going to use the same texture. But say for example you want that, but with a little bit of earthy soil mixed in the, well, mix basically. Yeah, just put that down in between, so you get a chessboard pattern like this, and then fill the rest in the texture that you like. And then as you can see, you get the same kind of idea, a little bit darker grass, but it's a little bit brownish. It's almost like it's a construction site or something, or it's been taken over by nature, or something like that. I have no idea. But once again, that's one of the limitless options. I mean, you can try countless of things with that. And if you're a smart person and you've already seen this coming, then you've seen this coming because you've seen this coming. Never mind. And yeah, there's of course there's a fourth way you can do this, and yeah, you must have seen it coming. Start out the same way that we just started out. I'm just going to mix some random textures here. This one looks nice, so we're going to put this everywhere, and now we're going to mix it with this texture. Yes. Oops. I'm going to replace that. Okay, and now so far so good. And now comes the little bit harder part, where you have to concentrate to get it right. We're going to take this texture, and we're going to fill in every other diagonal tile, like this. Yeah, that's good. It does require some concentration because you don't want to miss anything, so that's all good. And let's say for example we want some sand with this because we're going to mix everything together. Then you get an even more complex texture. Now this isn't the nicest of textures because I've mixed some weird things, so you get a pretty weird texture. But This is the fourth option, and if you can really mix some very well mixing textures, I've rarely seen people do that, but especially with the grass it's possible, then this can give you limitless options basically. So that's it for advanced texturing. I'm just going to show you a few textures that I really like with these tricks. Alright, this for example is arguably the best moss texture in the game. It's made by mixing the asphalt texture with this little bit lighter, greener-ish green than the usual grass, and yeah, that's when you get this. And this is very useful for magical forests or just well, dense forests in general. Alright, this is the somewhat greyish asphalt texture, as I like to call it. I've used this one in my coaster Ilias, shout out to those who still remember Ilias by the way. And it's a little bit more light and greyish than the in-game asphalt, which is a little bit too dark for my taste, and this is great for paths for example, and it's made by mixing this dark asphalt texture with this very light rock texture you see over here. And that's where you get this. Now the last one is what I'd like to call the in-between sand. You mix this darker sand with this dune sand, and the reason why I like to do that is because this dune sand is way too light, and if you turn on bloom it's just going to kill your eyes. And yeah, it's nice to mix it with this dark sand like this, and you still have that duney, windy sand texture, but it's a little bit darker, and that's nice. Alright, so as an example I want to give my coaster called Alfar. I've used a few of these tricks all over the place, as you can see. These aren't the normal in-game textures. I've used a lot of rock textures and mixing them with grass textures, as you can see, and also using sand textures here and there. These are these little yellow brownish spots, and altogether it looks pretty nice, I think. So this is the way you can use these techniques, and I hope you learned something from this tutorial. So, thanks for watching.